American Eagle is being accused of making Yahtzee propaganda. Candace Owens is being sued by the Macrons, and there's something people are not talking about when it comes to this. So welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie B. If you guys like independent voices that talk about politics, culture, social media, all those things, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into today's video. So American Eagle is under fire right now because of Sydney Sweeney's ad. Okay, it's an ad for American Eagle, which you guys know is for jeans. Okay, so the ad, I personally, this is one of those things where I think the left and the right could agree on not liking it, but for different reasons. So let's listen to a video of Sydney in the commercial at the beginning and then a bit of what this woman has to say after.
An ad from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My jeans are blue.
Sydney Sweeny has very keen.
They're literally saying the quiet part out loud, but was it ever truly quiet when you're wearing dumbass merch like this? I mean, really.
Okay, first of all, she's not wearing Make America Great Again merch. Never seen a photo of Sydney Sweeny wearing that. I don't know what this woman is talking about. So as far as the good jeans part, do I think that they probably should have read the room? Maybe, because when you're thinking about marketing these days, you truly have to think about not offending anybody, because left and right people do get offended. I will obviously say that left-leaning people get way more offended than the right. I will just say that, okay? But I've seen the right be offended by silly things, and I'm like, guys, are we any better than the left if we are mad about comedy, right? If people were mad about South Park, I'd be calling that out as well. So anyways, do I think it was maybe poor taste because of the way that the left overreacts? Maybe going on there and saying that Sydney Sweeny has good genes is, could be viewed as problematic. What I don't like about it is that she's like kind of looking like she's touching herself at the same time as literally saying the word offspring. Like, I just think it's
From parents to offspring.
Like, why did she say it like that? From parents to offspring. Why would you say it like that? And on here, I'm not showing it, but you can kind of see her boob. She's wearing like an open jean jacket. It's just so unnecessary. And people are like, what if the children hear these messages about genetics? First of all, you guys have been telling white people for the past 5 years at least that they are less than, that they are all of these things because they are white, okay? So the kids have been hearing this, okay? And this is probably the first time a child who's white has heard that they would have good genes if they had blue eyes and blonde hair, which is sad because, I think we can look at any race of person, and see attractive humans and unattractive humans and say, oh, that person has good genes. And it would be normal. That's a normal thing to say. Now, do I think that American Eagle actually meant that they only think people who have blue eyes and blonde hair have good genes? No, I think they were just trying to play on words and they were excited that they got Sydney Sweeny, okay? What bothers me is all the sexualness about it. Why does this need to be sexual? What do you mean? You're talking about genes. If you are talking about genetics, why does this have to be a sexual conversation? I do not understand the mixing of the word child with a tone like that. Okay, I'm over it. What bothers me is that these people, I will say, I love how our media has if there is one thing that has come good out of the body positivity movement, not much, but it is the fact that we do not glorify people who look like children anymore as the beauty standard, because my daughter has lots of women to look up to who genuinely look normal. I was looking up to all of the women in Mean Girls who were literally a size 0. So, yeah. So overall, I think American Eagle should have definitely read the room, but do I think that they mean that they're a Yahtzee company and they only see blue eyes and blonde hair as the good genetics? No, I don't. Okay. And marketing will be marketing. Obviously, SEX sells, and that is why they do it. It is just so annoying as a parent to have to talk to and debrief about all of these things with your daughter. Anyways, let's talk about Candace Owens being sued by the Macrons. So a couple of short months ago, Candace Owens went over this book called Becoming Brigitte, and it talks about how there are no young photos of the First Lady of France right now to exist, and that the most disgusting part about this is not even the fact that she could have been born a male, okay? It's the fact they met when he was 15, and everyone's just glossing by this. On the left right now, they're like, how do you even know Candace? Because here's what happens is that Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson have been standing on business, okay, at the beach for the last, I don't know, however many months. I admire anybody who can go against the grain even when it is not popular, okay? Doesn't matter if I agree with everything they say. Doesn't matter if I disagree with everything they say. I can still admire their work right now, okay? So she decides to go against the grain, gets fired for standing up for, you know, the country she stood up for. And it's funny because the lefties are like, well, why isn't she talking about Trump and Epstein? Oh, she is. You're just not listening because you guys think it's literal violence to listen to Candace Owens, a black woman. Yeah, just hear yourselves there. If you're white and you're listening to this, oh, maybe I am racist. Yeah, you are. BLM told me, amplify black voices. I listen to Candace Owens. It's a snowball effect from there, okay? Because in my opinion, by the way, I shouldn't only listen to minorities I agree with. Yeah. So, yes, Candace Owens has been talking about becoming Brigitte. Brigitte, there's this story that a journalist broke open wide. It's not just Candace saying this. Candace... And people are like, you can't just say this. She's not just saying this. She asked for proof, okay? Like, she has a lot of, I guess, evidence against the contrary of Brigitte Macron allegedly being born a woman, okay? And the Macrons had no interest in proving her wrong, which they could have. She lent out a hand to do that, okay? And if she was actually just doing this for clicks and likes and she knows nothing, she would probably talk about Michelle Obama, because everybody says that about Michelle Obama, okay? They say that Michelle's real name is Michael, okay? It's a running joke on the internet. And you know what? Michelle Obama, this is what I don't like about any of this stuff, the gender ideology stuff that we've, you know, adapted, because people genuinely do just look at more masculine women and say, oh, you were born a man, blah, 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 because now a bunch of people are just, you know, changing gender willy-nilly. But this is more than that. And I think that the thing that nobody is talking about, besides the fact that they met when she was a teacher in her 40s and he was 15, which, by the way, that makes me think of so many things about Trudeau. Listening to what happened to Emmanuel Macron, I'm like, what did Trudeau go through? I would love for Candace Owens to do a deep dive on Mark Carney and Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney's wife. Oh, I would love it. And nobody's really talking about this, but when Trump called Candace Owens to ask her to stop talking about the Macrons so that they could make a peace deal in Russia, first of all, she did stop talking about them and they didn't make a peace deal. No, straight up, what do you mean? Seriously. And if that is not indication of the blackmail ring working in real time, like, I'm not even sure if Candace realizes this, okay? She found out a massive secret. And Candace has been pretty clear about talking about how she's done with the perverts in charge, okay? So she outs a pervert and gets a phone call, and she is connected to Trump, okay? She is connected. I was shocked she wasn't at the inauguration. And he asked her to stop doing, like, that is the power of the elite ring working in real time. Does anybody think, okay, so they have all of these tapes, right? Like, that's what everybody thinks is that, well, knows, because that's what was testified, is that there's all of these tapes of these people in compromising positions, you know, with underage children, okay, do we honestly think that they're ever, like, are they ever going to release a tape? As soon as they release a tape, what happens? So they have all of this blackmail footage for no reason. They will literally never show it, because when they show it, they out themselves at the same damn time. I don't know how to explain this to people. The only way that this stops, seriously, is if someone actually goes against them and is not afraid of those tapes being showed about them. I know that that sounds so crazy and delusional, but it's true. The only way that this ever stops is if one of those tapes is ever shown. So I don't know what these politicians even think. Do you think they're going to out themselves to out you? Do you actually think they are going to out themselves to out you? I genuinely, I do not understand why nobody thinks about this. Everyone's like, Trump's not... so many right-leaning creators think Trump is not implicated. And I would love to live there. I would love to live in the spot where you guys think that Trump did nothing. What I cannot get past is the only reason I think he did nothing, okay? Well, there's two. He doesn't drink, okay? And number two, why would he bring this up? Why would he say there's a lot of people that have problems with that island? Why would he say that? If he knew that there was things that he could be implicated on, why would he bring that up? Seriously. Before that, we were all under the impression that if you believed that, you were crazy. Trump was like the only person to actually admit that that was like some crazy stuff was going on there. That is the only reason why I could think he's not implicated, but every other factor is telling me otherwise, allegedly. I do not have Trump derangement syndrome, but I don't have it in either way. I'm not so pro-Trump, I can't see what's going on. And like I've said, though, is that it is extremely hard to get unbiased news when it comes to America, because it's either people kissing Trump's behind, okay, or absolutely just saying the most outrageous things when there are things that they could actually criticize that make sense to criticize. You know what I mean? So anyways, tell me what you guys think. I think that they will never out anybody because it outs themselves at the same time. So unless someone's willing to have their reputation entirely tarnished to be able to save, nothing's going to change, because we just keep going in this mess over and over and over. And I think that the only reason why Candace can speak out is because she does not have a scandalous past in the slightest. I think she's pretty pure in the sense she's a firecracker, that's for sure. I just mean, like, I just don't think she's doing crazy things to get blackmailed for. So tell me what you guys think. Yeah, that was today's episode, or this week's, or one of this week's episodes about what's going on in pop culture / the internet. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.